spend time for yourself, you will discover that you are somebody entirely different. And of course, this is what the teaching is. This teaching must help you to contemplate. And we have been discussing in details that how things are moving. And in the last class, we discussed a beautiful point that verse number 38, Yatheka kalpaka swapne nana vidhitayesyate jagarapi tatha peka tatheva bahudha jagata. So as in a dream, this dream was being explained very nicely. The dreamer, me as a dreamer, creates this dream. And of course, in this dream world, plenty of things I create. I create a vast jungle, full of animals, full of different type of creatures. And of course, there is a tiger, there is a deer, there is many other things. And in that also, me and my friends. So all are created out of me at a glance. And again, it gets observed. All this projected dream world get observed or resolved in me just in a fraction of a second. So the point is here to communicate how this dream world cannot exist without me. The dream world cannot be different from me. Most important point to communicate here. That's why all religion is destroyed with this point. Had they highlighted this point somewhere in any religion, there would not have become different religion either. Everybody took the example of Yatha Urnanavi, Srujate Grunante Cha. As the spider creates. And of course, when the spider can take back all this web, so also this creator created this universe. This example they have taken and created all religion and religious practices. Whereas here this example is very vital to understand that a dreamer cannot be away from dream tiger or dream world. Nor the dream world or dream tiger can be away from dream. That's why the moment dreamer wakes up, everything vanishes. In fact, they don't exist. So also the God, the totality. And fortunately, that God totality is me here. The principle that we have discussed, the concept of this wave, water and ocean. And me being the totality. Me being the principle of this totality. Nothing is away from me. Nothing is different from me. In fact, I am everywhere. So when I am everywhere, please understand slowly what happens without your knowledge. You start accommodating. Just observe yourself. When you accept somebody as a part of your family, and of course, later on when your child or somebody, you would think that that person is extension of your life. Do you accommodate that person or not? You accommodate. Please understand why I am trying to say this thing. When you love somebody, you accommodate. And of course, because of which you love a person, for the same reason you hate the person. Remember this. For what reason you love a person? This is what I have understood very carefully. For what reason you loved a person? For what reason you loved an object? For what reason you loved a place? For the same reason, if you spend time more and more, if the association is so strong, for the same reason, you will hate that person or object or situation. So when you love, you accommodate. And of course, that is not accommodation, that is your helplessness. That is your ignorance. You are completely blind. You don't accommodate, you don't see anything. You are completely blind, you keep jumping. Please understand situation very carefully. That's why here we say that when you see that somebody or something is extension of your life, what we call sometimes extended family, you try to accommodate because their understanding is involved. And here we say this is what we call as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Whoever joins late is not acceptable. From next class onwards, joining late will not be acceptable. Sorry. So here we need to look at very carefully that how I have to see myself everywhere and nothing is different from me. So once I understand, then I start accommodating. In fact, this accommodating becomes a process in my life. Just observe an elderly person, supposed to. Or I would rather say, observe a dying person. That is a better word. When you observe a dying person, helplessly, that person accommodates everything and everybody. It's an amazing thing to observe. A dying person who knows at any moment will die. It is just a matter of time. That person helplessly will accommodate everybody and everything. Because priority is any moment I will die. That's why the person does not bother what noise you make outside, or whether you look at the person or not. But of course, if you go to the person nearer, blesses you the way. If you don't go, the person does not bother. I am observing beautifully because there are few points. Of course, I have seen many people, dying people in my life. Becomes very nice, very, I would rather say dramatic way they have done when this Bhishma in Mahabharata, Bhishma is lying down on the bed of arrows. Such a great personality. So he is lying down because during Mahabharata war he was lying down on the bed of arrows. Because he had the Ichha Mrityu with him. Means whenever he wishes he can die. But he had promised something. This is called, another aspect of life. So he has promised something. He wanted to stick to that promise. That's why Bhishma is regarded as a, stands for giving words. Till now in India, colloquial language, every language you say, Bhishma Pratigya. This is my Bhishma Pratigya, means I have given the words, you don't have to think of anything. How? Coming back to the point here is, so here, if you understand, this dream is not different from dream world, cannot be separated, there cannot be any distance. you will discover that you will start accommodating anything and everything, including your mistakes, including your difficulties. Then only you will see the growth in you, or else what will happen? He gives two types of example. Let us look at here. These are the traditional examples. Next verse. Sarpabodhe yatha rajyo sukto va rajata brahmaha tadbadeva vidam vishvam vivrutam paramatmani. Sarpabodher yatha rajyo shukto va rajata brahmaha tadvadevamidam vishvam vivrutam paramatmani. This is a very typical example we give. Both dislikes and likes, both are there. Starting with the dislike, because what you hate in life, wherever there is fear, that is more stronger in you. That emotion is very much affecting you. So you need to take care of, look at that aspect first. So he says beautifully, because of illusion, a rope appears like a snake. It's a very typical example, of course traditional example. In, let us say, countryside, not in cities, backyard of your house, evening time, twilight zone, things are not visible that clearly. And of course it's rainy season. Just I am giving you beautiful example, preparing yourself, which I have seen many times. That's what I am trying to say. Rainy season, and small grass have come, and nothing clearly visible. And you know, daytime many snakes were moving. Now you discover there is one rope lying down. From a distance you see the rope, and you have forgotten. It did not strike, but the fear of a snake is so much strong in you. This is a very careful example. The rope that has fallen, not that you have not seen it, you have seen. Sometimes you might have put, or somebody might have put. You know that is a rope, but you have seen in the morning snake in that area, and regularly you have seen snake few times, and the fear of a snake is so strong in you, and of course the consequences of snake bites and whatnot. Now from a distance you see the rope, but not clearly visible. Something is lying down. That something is lying down, of course, like a snake size, and the fear of snake is so predominant. What do? So your mind starts mapping. This is called, mapping takes place. How mechanically you map, and of course you destroy yourself without your knowledge. So you see the you see the rope, which is not clearly visible, nor you see the snake. Please understand. Neither you are in a position to come to conclusion that it is a snake, because eyes doesn't say. And of course you are not sure whether it is rope, but the mind does mapping so fast. You are under the influence of your mind, and you come to a conclusion that there is a snake. And not only you come to a conclusion that there is a snake, you start shouting, you want to run away, you look for sticks, you want to chase, you want to kill, you want to do many things with reference to that mapping, not, please understand, not with reference to the object. This is a beautiful example that has been described traditionally. Just to see for yourself how the mapping takes place in you. All your projects, how does it get matched? How do you overlap? The swiping, they have very nice language nowadays, all the psychological language they say, how it happens. So please understand, it happens because of what? There is a fear in you. The insecurity that is in you killing you. That insecurity pushes you to decide based on that. Okay, this is one example. Another example says, Sukto Rajata Brahma. So Sukto means a false self. This is another beautiful example. It's complete light. This is light, this is complete light. How here the greed, how your, to achieve something. Here is fear to lose something. My life will go away, this will happen, that will happen. That's why the fear. Here is to achieve something, to grab something. How it drags you in a different way. So you want to be a rich person. You want to be a wealthy person, nothing wrong in it. But you want to really want to prove that you are a wealthy person. Knowingly or unknowingly. Consciously or subconsciously. There are a lot of ways to prove. Or you want to hold on to. We'll see in detail some other time how and why. So he says, when you see a pole shell lying down on the beach, and you have gone to the beach from a distance, and you have heard that sea never keeps anything. Whatever you give comes out. And interestingly, that whatever we have in deep we see, much more things are there. God knows what other things are there in the deep sea. In fact, sea world is much more interesting and beautiful than this existing or visible world. In fact, thank God, human beings have not explored it completely. Whatever little bit they have explored, because they have gone only few 100 meters down, sometimes 1 or 2 kilometers, few kilometers. But remember, sea is a much, much deeper. And that world is an amazing world. You can see sometimes different documentaries, different type of sea plants. Amazing. And of course, as long as the light is able to reach that long, people are able to dive much deeper where light cannot go, but there are creatures live there. God knows what other things available. Coming back. So subconsciously, you know a lot of precious things are there in the sea. And of course, you associate with something shining, something good. And deep within, you understand silver is very good. You want some silver. Now, from a distance, you see the pole shell is lying down and the sun has fallen down. Now there is a reflection. So when you see the reflection from a distance, what happens to seeing that pole shell? Now you come to a conclusion that there is silver. Now the shape of pole is the shape of silver. And of course later on, the weight of pole will be the weight of silver. Now you want to have it, you want to gain it. Now what happens? mind starts mapping that there is there is silver. So now when this superimposition happens, this is the most important aspect. That particular moment, do you see that it is a pole cell? And if you discover some unknown person is coming towards that shell, what will happen to you? Your heart will start beating. That person may take away. And the person while coming suddenly goes back. Relieved. Or walks, doesn't look at that but just passes by. Appa, thank God. See how your heartbeat changes with reference to that false shell, because you have superimposed or you have visualized or you have accepted that it is not a false shell but it is a silver. So you never see false shell nor you see rope. Other example, you see the snake and you see the silver, both opposites. The example has been given. So also this consciousness, because of superimposition, we see only diversified universe. This tree is different from other tree. This plant is different from other. This person is different from that. We all are different. And of course, with reference to me and my family, also there is difference. So this particular thing happens when superimposition. And as I told you, why this superimposition happens, very shortest way I explained, because of these through these two examples, because of your insecurity. How this mapping happens. This is beautifully. Then how we can handle it? Let us look at the next verse. Rajjugyanadyatha sarpah mithyarupo nivartate atmagyanat tatha yati mithyabhutamidam jagat. Rajjugyanaat yatha sarpah mithyarupo nivartate atmagyanat tatha yati mithyabhutamidam jagat. This is very simple. So that long the snake continues, or the snake becomes a reality. And of course, as long as a snake is a reality, that long the relationship towards a snake, or you can say the consequences of that imposition, superimposition, continues. Whereas the moment the knowledge of rope is gained, that you discover that is no more a snake but is a rope, then what happens? Just like that. It does not take time. The erroneous of being taken as a snake does not remain. This is again, this example creates a lot of issues. In fact, this is what the next also same thing. With reference to Paul's self also, which will also be discussed very nicely next verse. So, here he says, by this arising of this knowledge of self, the erroneous notion of this universe also falsifies. This is the problem we all have. This is a new problem. Because of this example, this instant liberation comes. So the liberation just happens. Like as you know, yesterday I was telling, as yesterday was a Buddha Purnima. So what people say? He was born, of course he left his body and he got enlightened on that day. How do you know that he got enlightened on that day? Is an enlightened an event? Please understand. Is enlightenment as an event? If it is an event, you can note it, you can record it. Please understand, this is the wrong example here. Because this example only explains one aspect. This is why you have to understand the limitation of any example. It only communicates that the moment rope knowledge is being obtained, the moment you start seeing that object as the object, then the superimposition that you have created, that has happened, vanishes just like that. Whereas in the case of this self-knowledge, there is habitual error. So habitual error will not go away just like that. Don't forget. So habitual error to go, you need a process. And as long as habitual error is there in you, you will get dragged to wrong things. You will superimpose many things. That's why we do talk about lifestyle. We do talk about meditation. We do talk about all these rituals that we have talked earlier, where you try to put your thinking in a systematic way. You don't allow the habitual error to take place. You start thinking in a straightforward way. And when you start thinking in a straightforward way for a length of time, like army people, please understand, all over the world, when you join in the army, they don't allow you to think what they think, especially those who are in the frontliner army people. They don't think, they never think. Because the way their mind is being trained, just they are supposed to execute. And time comes when they work in the army for length of time, the way of functioning becomes that straightforward. In life, they do not know how to think, only they know how to execute. It's a very small example you can see for yourself. So that's why here you cannot come to a conclusion that the liberation happens instantly or in a click. This particular time somebody got enlightened. There are people, there are great saints, they are called great saints. Their time of enlightenment is written. What a pathetic situation. You think that person has never made any mistake in life? Please understand, it's a process. You have to appreciate, because there is a habitual error. So being a habitual error, being a process, you have to be alert every moment. If you are not alert, definitely the habitual error will take over. That's why we say beautifully, the great personalities also have lost. The story goes related to this. A young boy called Dhruva, who was actually very much known as a devotee of Lord Vishnu. That too, as the age of small age, he could do meditation, he could do a lot of austerity and could see the God. And he was being blessed. And later on, we say that he is the one of the star. So of course, when a small boy gets all these things, blessings, all other rishis, all other meditated people were jealous. How is it possible? We have been meditating for years, but nothing is happening. But the small boy did it, and Lord Vishnu blessed. Somebody said, do you know why? Because this boy happens to be in the lineage of the God. Because he's part of his own family, that's why God blessed. Because every time you try to find out some excuses, how? The story goes further. One of the senior monk, so he could not digest, he could not buy this idea because he had some other opinion. So he said, look, as we go for, because they were doing meditation in an island, so sometimes they go for this boating to change their mind. So let us go for boating. And he put all of them. So generally they go few kilometers and come back. But that day, this particular elderly sadhu, elderly monk, asked the person, okay, let us go little further. They said, everyone said, look, it's becoming evening. How will come back? Why will go so far long? No, please. Finally, they came across an island which none of them have seen it, except this person. And of course, they said, oh, there's a beautiful island. When they jumped, got into this island, so there are many ant hills, which goes back few hundred years. Like chronologically, you can see the age-wise. And there was one very young ant hill. Looks like maybe some 100-year-old. Okay, young means some 100-year-old, only 100-year-old. So then all of them are shocked. What is all about it? He said, I myself do not know much. But one of the senior monk one day brought, we had some doubt like you people. And he brought here. So when he brought here and he explained, you can see all these ant hills stands for Dhruva's previous life. He was doing all the time meditation. In fact, his sariram, his body was covered with ants. That's how the ant hill comes. That's why we have got one sage called Valmiki, who wrote Ramayana, who is the first poet of this universe. So his name is called Valmiki because he was being discovered from Valmiki. He was doing japam because he could not utter the word Rama. He was so auspicious because he was a bandit and he tried to opposite it. Mara means dead body. From Mara became Ram, and he was so strong. Then finally Anthill came. Let us not divert the story too much. So here, the last one, this is the most important aspect. The last one is said that it was his last life. He was supposed to be liberated. So each time he was working, each life he was working, and when last life came, he was really in the process of getting liberation. But unfortunately, one day when he was sitting, so he discovered that on the boat, group of kings were passing by. One group, and with his retinue, with his followers passing by. One thought came to his mind. Oh, look, I am alone doing meditation. Nothing like being a king. What would it be to become a king in life? So the moment this thought came there, now with that thought, please understand, he did his meditation later on, he could manage. But deep within, that was in the subconscious mind. And of course, he left his body. That's why he was born into a royal family. And being born into the royal family, and of course, already because of his Purva Vasana, he could see the limitations of it and he could not enjoy. That's why one small incident pushed him to go back to the old habit. And he did meditation, and of course, God appeared and he was being liberated. Just observe this. This is called seeing the limitations. What I am highlighting here is that liberation is a process. Liberation is nothing, please understand. Liberation is nothing. Releasing yourself from others and releasing others from yourself. Please make a note. The liberation or freedom is releasing yourself from others and of course releasing others from yourself. The more you know how to release yourself from others and releasing others from you, the more you are a free person. Don't look at that freedom will happen overnight, instantly. All these are cock and bull stories to misguide you. But being a process, you need to be alert. Only when you are alert, please understand, you will not really superimpose quickly. Even though you see the real snake, please understand, even if you see the real snake, you will not jump. From a distance, you will take precautions. I was watching today such a beautiful scene. Really, I admire. Okay, there are a few mistakes here and there. That's a different thing altogether. I admire this Mahabharata, the person who was directed. I was watching because how the emotions they have brought it out. Today was going on, very nice concept. Just I am trying to map with you people here that Abhimanyu, a young great archer, son of Arjuna, and interestingly, he was brought up by Krishna because Krishna happens to be uncle, Krishna's sister, Subhadra's son. So in fact, Krishna was his guru. And because being Lord, he knows what is going to happen. This boy, the best archer, he knew how to enter a particular type of formation of the war called Chakravya, like a wheel shape, how they attack and capture. So he knew how to enter because when his father was talking to his mother when he was in the womb, the mother was listening to it about this Chakravya, and moment as father was talking, mother slept off. So this boy being in the womb only knew how to enter, how to break, but never knew how to come out of it. And this particular thing only two people knew, that is called Lord Krishna and Arjuna, how to enter and how to come out. Other than that, nobody knew. Just I am trying to tell you this particular point. Lord Krishna knew everything. And moreover, apart from that, remember, not only the nephew of him, also student. And he being Sarathi, a charioteer, listens to the command of Arjuna. Even though in the beginning said, look, I am charioteer, you do whatever, but being a charioteer, I will do what you say. And he does. When he comes to know that he is no more, you can see the reaction of both Arjuna and Krishna. In fact, Krishna did not really bother much. In fact, on the top, beautifully, Arjuna asked the question, can you say this is Atma? How nicely they have done dramatically. Can you say this is Atma? The body that is lying down is just the cloth, the covering, the leftover of the Atma. Can you say this? And of course, Lord Krishna handles such a beautiful way. That is called alertness. That's why we say, try to read the Krishna literature. Not reading from this, all these jokers available. Directly read from Sanskrit. Of course, there are word by word translations are available by Gita Press Gorakhpur. How the moment, how the Krishna moves, especially how Krishna was alert. Every moment the alertness shows that you are a knowledgeable person. If you lose your alertness a fraction of second, just a fraction of second, remember your habitual error will take over. I would like to say, because today we could not go much, please understand very nicely, carefully, that you just see yourself. When you lose your alertness, how it starts. Let us say you have done your own priority, or you have fixed your timings, let us say including attending this class. That's why I am little critical today with all of you. So if you have fixed this timing for class, now something pops up, because you all will have your own excuse, don't worry. Something will pop, something pops up. Then what happens? Mind wants to attend that, because your mind is tired, because your mind is being questioned. And oh God, what Swamiji is going to ask? Swamiji is angry. No, this, that. You understand what I am trying to say? When I am talking, I know what reaction you must be going through in you people. Anyway, choice is yours, don't worry. My job is to say whether you listen to me or not, but I will keep saying, because out of love, out of care and concern, I will be talking. If you understand, good for you. If you don't understand, don't worry, good for me. However, coming back, joke apart. So the mind will try to divert. Okay, let me attend to other. The moment you attend to other, now mind gets a diversion. And because you are not alert, your mind will not able to come back again to the old thinking or old place. Then you keep diverting, and suddenly you wake up. By the time you come back, there is a lot of sense of guilt. You have lost the time, lost this, that. Then finally what happens? You are out of the track. Have you not observed this? Just see for yourself. That's why we say very carefully, fix your timing and stick to it, including eating food on time, taking shower on time. Everything should be in a systematic way in the beginning. That's why in earlier days, that's why taking bath before sunrise, it was being prescribed, because there was no watch and all these things. Few things were being prescribed based on the movement of the sun. Because if you miss that, your mind keeps changing. That's why please make sure that life is nothing, being alert all the time. And if you are not alert, what will happen? Please understand. Everywhere, now and then, you will try to see the snake on a rope. And of course, you will try to see silver on a pole cell when sun falls. The reflection will make you to realize or to go for a pole cell as a silver. And of course, when you do that, definitely you will have a lot of conflict, a lot of confusion. The values will be different, and finally you will literally bury yourself with your way of thinking, and that is what called burden in your life. More of it we'll see tomorrow. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Ashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.